Hi, Genki Call here with your Soulforge offerings for the week of June 27th, 2022. Nothing very super exciting in the troops. It's the weapons that we've got going on this week. Oh, the weapons! But let's go over this first. Ha ha ha. All right, first of all, we've got the Infernal King. If you've ever done a pet rescue with the Blighted Lands enemies, you know how very annoying he can be because he has a 25% chance to resurrect after death. And he burns enemies when doing skull damage. He converts green gems to skulls and brown gems to red, plus he does some scatter damage. So, he is a very underutilized double mana converter with mana and skulls. I don't really see him used very often, despite the fact that he can resurrect. Let's see if I can come up with something for him, but the long and short of it is I don't recommend crafting it. I don't recommend crafting any of these unless you're dying for Holy Saint Astra. 800 diamonds for a legendary is just really, really high, and I don't recommend that. Let me check out green here real quickly. And red I already looked at. Okay, just double checking to see that Merilith wasn't in there, and she's not. Neither is Centurigon, I already checked. All right, next up, we've got King Highforge. Um, the thing that's significant about him is that he gives all dwarf allies 50% mana start. How often do you use an all dwarf team, though? So, unless you're using Rune Priest and some additional dwarves, you probably don't really need him. He does stun the last two enemies and deal damage to them boosted by allied dwarves. And he summons, so it's not like he's useless, but again, not worth 800 diamonds in my opinion. Leviathan, again, submerge myself on 4+ gem matches, which can make him very, very annoying to fight unless you have Captain McCaw with you. Because I personally like to do damage to the entire team with scatter damage or damage to all enemies, and that makes him annoying because I can't hit him. Dispels all enemies, so if there are any positive status effects on them, it removes all of them, and deals damage to them boosted by blue gems and knocks the first enemy to the last position. So if you've ever fought this guy in Delves, then you know how much he can screw up your team. Holy Saint Astra. Now, the only reason I can see to want to craft this particular troop is because she's a healer. She adds life and armor to all allies, creates a light storm to feed herself. It's only going to feed herself, and enchant all humans. So if you're using War Priest or Plague Lord, sorry, my mind, your hero a human, so they would get enchanted. Also, all human allies start with 50% mana. Now, the reason why Holy Saint Astra is sought after because people like to use her with double Tesla. Shield of Erskaya, double Tesla, Holy Saint Astra, that was the meta for ever. However, personally, I think it's better Shield of Erskaya, Merilith, and 2 Tesla. I think it's much faster, and I just like it a lot better. I think it's a better choice, and Merilith is a lot easier to get, and it's not going to cost you any diamonds, nor is it going to, cost you a bunch of, trying to get those legendaries. Anyway, the only other reason I would say to maybe craft one of these is if you are power blocked in one of your kingdoms and you just are dying to get the power level up. That could be a reason as well, but 800 diamonds is really steep for that. It's usually better left to, crafting mythics or weapons, or both. Sistinos is always here. Voice of Orpheus. Voice of Orpheus is not considered to be a fantastic troop, but he does cleanse all allies. So this is a choice that you can have on red, yellow, or purple day to cleanse your team. If the other team is using Elementalist, you can cleanse the entire team with one strike. And it also gives all other allies 5 mana, You cleanse all allies when matching yellow gems, so you don't even have to cast. You just have to match yellow gems. And he's impervious as well. So, he's not a terrible troop. He can be very good for guild wars against elementalists specifically, because elementalist is just so powerful. Queen of Sin, again, not considered a good mythic. I've never actually used her because she kind of sucks. I need to play with her more. Just to be fair, I haven't used her but a couple of times. I just wasn't impressed with the teams I made with her. I need to give her another chance, of course. Does true damage to the first two enemies, summons Wrath or Lust. Go for Wrath, Wrath, Wrath. I hate Lust. And then bless all demon allies. Enemies lose 4 from a random skill point when an ally casts a spell damage reduction, and this purple number goes up every time an ally casts a spell. Overall, she's, for a mythic, rather underwhelming. Always there, Flame of Anu. Again, underwhelming, except for this third trait. Burn and Fairy Fire a random enemy when matching 4+ gems. If you're running with Fireblade, he could be very, very useful. Also, the Fairy Fire will make your spell damage do an extra 50% damage. So if it's 50 damage, boom, an extra 50%, that's 75 damage instead of 50. So he can actually do a lot more damage to this, but he only does damage to the first 2 enemies, boosted by burning and fairy fired enemies. The boost is ×5, so it can be significant because it's +5 for each burn and for each fairy fire. So if they're burning and fairy fired, this can really add up. But as you kill off the enemies, there's less and less burn and fairy fire, so the amount of damage he does will go down. Flaming Oni. I think that if I were to recommend any one mythic from this week, I would say Flaming Oni. I actually don't recommend any of them, and I do have something to show you. I completely forgot. Hold on, let me pull this up for you. Ha 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 ha. Can you even see this? Let me make sure. You cannot. All right, so let's fix that. Here we go. The remaining Soulforge mythics put together by the amazing King Ollie. He is on the PlayStation Network, and you can search him out and see if he has any openings in his guild. He puts this whole thing together for his guild every week. It's just amazing. So, these are all of the remaining Soulforge mythics. I'm sorry, I'm going to have to pull that back down, but this is everything we have left. If there's something on this list that you want more than what's in the Soulforge right now, save your diamonds. Seriously. Don't just say, oh, I have to get something. I have 4,000 diamonds. Don't do that. It's not good for you in the long run, and there may be something next week that you're dying to have. Look, High King Iron Gut is coming up, and Pycea, that's Pycea, is coming up, and, Tina, and we already did Iron Hawk, but, there are all kinds of things here. I will give a link to this visual in the description box below so that you can go through this at your leisure. But in the meantime, that is the wrong place. Let me go back where I need to be. There. All right, so Flaming Oni. Summon 3 random goblins, so if you have your team die out, he can resummon them all at once. He explodes a bunch of green gems, and he gets an extra turn because he's a goblin. He also converts 2 red gems to burning gems when the turn begins, and he summons a firestorm at the start of battle. So it's a nice way to get a firestorm at the start of battle if you're using any class that doesn't have a firestorm. I think he's okay. I don't absolutely love him, but at the same time, I think he's not a bad troop at all. I'd say he's the best of this week's offerings, personally. So as far as weapons go, Shimmer Scale's Wing is brand spanking new. It's new. Give life to all allies, and if Shimmer Scale is on my team, get an extra turn. I like Shimmer Scale. I think Shimmer Scale is fun. So the upgrades. I don't know what the upgrades are. Let's craft it and go find out, and then I'll come back and show you the rest. But troops, weapon, shimmer, scale. All right, let's check this out. So significant plus magic, 1 mana to all allies, and barrier myself. Now that's interesting. It does barrier itself. So that is very nice for an epic weapon. Oops, I actually meant to upgrade that. Whee! There we go. Now it's taken care of. So one more epic weapon has been added to the game. Ooh, yes, I must have that. All right, there's my alarm. My alarm's going off. That was fantastic timing. Anyway, let's go back into the Soulforge and I'll show you what's really, really good in the weapons this week. So excited for you. Trickster's Shot is in here. Ah, Trickster's Shot. Trickster's Shot is amazing on high level delves, high level events of any kind. You strip off all of their armor and then you gain 2 magic boosted by the armor eliminated. So every time you cast, this number just skyrockets on those high levels. Plus you're taking off all of their armor. So it's great for raid boss, for an invasion, for any kind of high level event. It's just fantastic. As a matter of fact, this week we could use it. And I forgot to mention that. Forgot to make a team for the high levels with Trickster's Shot, but it's a really, really great weapon, and I highly, highly suggest that you craft this one. But there are others in here that I highly suggest as well. So the next thing on the list, we're just going to go through from top to bottom. The Summer Aegis. Actually love this weapon with Queen Titania and King Oberon and Leprechaun. They're all bright forest. Green and red is just really, really great synergy for that particular team. This would also work with King Oberon and Suna and Leprechaun. It's just, I really, really like this weapon. If you're limited on diamonds, don't go for this one. Trickster Shot. And there's more. Ooh, there's a Mystic Manuscript. Ah, I love that. Okay, Fairy Ring. Deal damage to an enemy boosted by Fey allies, and then create a mix of 6 green and purple gems for each Fey ally. Love this kind of weapon, I do. Staff of Bright Forest is one of the cheapo 75 diamond ones. Remove all green gems, which would make it for Green Guild Wars Day, useful for that day because you can deny the enemy team green. Deal damage to the enemy boosted by the gems removed, and if they are from Bright Forest or if the battle is in Bright Forest, deal double damage. I love that they've added that extra on there. I think it's super. Mystic Manuscript, and yes, look, Celestial Flask is here. Oh, that's another one I highly recommend. Mystic Manuscript is a favorite of mine, a favorite type of weapon. Explode a bunch of purple gems, grant a random status effect to all Mystic allies, and then summon a Mystic troop. It's my favorite type of weapon. I had to have it when it came out, so I didn't have to pay diamonds for it. It came out as part of an event, and I got it for gems, so yay! But it uses green and brown. It doesn't feed back into itself, yet it does, because all of those purple exploding gems are still going to get mana for your entire team. I really like this. I use this with a Zolgoth team with Lyraza, because Lyraza creates tons of purple and just blow the heck out of everything. Anyway, the last one here is Celestial Flask, and Celestial Flask is amazing. I don't use it very often, but it is amazing. Create 3 potions of red, green, blue, yellow, or purple and gain an extra turn. So the way that you use this weapon is you cast with it, you have an extra turn, you make sure that you have something to blow up the screen, you get the entire screen filled up with these potion gems, the gems from the explosion from the potions, and you just loop and loop and loop. It's just really powerful. I would say Trickster Shot first, then Celestial Flask, then Mystic Manuscript, and then Summer Aegis, if you're interested. And then Fairy Ring. There are some really good weapons here, but if you have limited diamonds, you have to decide for yourself what is going to be most useful for you. Maybe an explodey weapon would be more useful for you than something that you're only going to use for high-level events. It's entirely up to you. So I like to give the information and let you make your own decisions. I'm not going to try to tell you what to do. If it ever sounds like I'm trying to tell you what to do, maybe I am. But I may be trying to influence you, but I'm not going to try to tell you what to do. That is not, that's not what I'm trying to do. Anyway, I hope that you enjoyed this video and that it was helpful for you. Please like and subscribe, and we'll see you folks soon. Bye-bye!